Okay, we're going to start. The way this discussion is supposed to work is everybody has a different role they're playing, and then it's going to go from there. So I'm going to start with giving you your roles, and then if you can go through the case and try to understand their perspective and their point of view to help you with the next part of, well, the rest of the discussion. How's that sound? Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, sounds good. So, Christopher, if you could look at the perspective of Bill Purcell, and then Gabe, if you could look at the perspective of Miles Haddock, and then Joseph, if you could look at the perspective of Sid Noble. So, somewhere between 5 and 10 minutes to just review the case to make sure you understand your person's perspective on what they feel should be done. Okay, is everybody good, or do you need a few more minutes?
I'm good.
Okay. Sounds good. So this is going to run like we're at Top Chem, and we're in a meeting discussing what the best pay plan would be for everybody. So it's going to run from there, and so the goal is they'd like us to address people by the names in the case rather than actual given names. And then I guess my part is as Gilbert Porterfield, the CEO of the company, or President for Compensation, sorry, the head of that section. So we'll go there. So welcome to Top Chem Pay Committee meeting. As you know, Sam Baird lead the committee. Although I worked hard on the initial plan, I realized that no plan will be successful without the support from employees. I want to get your input so we can create a pay plan that will be best for everyone. So what do you guys think would make a better pay plan?
I think one that protects the company's bottom line, one that makes sure that us as a company is protected and that we're not losing money, and that drives work to perform. I think that's what would make a good pay plan.
Okay. Other ideas? I do think a plan that takes into account how they've started working in teams more would be something that would be good.
I disagree. Like, paying people what they're worth and what they can do for the company, I think is more important than being a team. Especially like in my department, everybody's a scientist. We're trying to develop new products for the company, and if we spend most of our time I was like, I'm not hearing Chris at all myself, but if you guys are, just let me know. We spend most of our time explaining to basics about what we do, then we can't get more done.
Okay. Right. They'd like to us to come up with maybe 20 different ideas. So I realize that's a lot, but we could get some more ideas.
I think that in a pay plan, it's important to include one that, as you were saying, includes teams. but that helps the teams work so that they're more efficient and that they do things correctly. And that way it minimizes our loss as a company. And that way it also rewards them for doing good work.
Yeah.
I think it depends on the team and the environment that you're in. Yeah, you can have a teamwork in line production and stuff like that, but on in certain departments, it's all about individual. Because if one person starts developing something and then has to explain, the next part on what they're doing, so that the next person can work on it, then that takes a lot more time and slows down production of new products. I was like, it's not fair, to get people in here to, with a pay plan, saying, hey, we're on this team pay plan, but so, based on what everybody else does in the department, how much you get paid. I can't recruit on that.
Yeah. And even beyond that, the case seemed to indicate it was not just dependent on their own team, it was dependent a little bit on other teams too, which is why there was such backfire. Because they're like, what am I supposed to do? I can't control everybody, kind of like what you're saying.
Take them out for a beer. Tell them how to do their job.
Yes. That never goes over with anybody. Well,
especially if you don't know how to do the job in the first place yourself.
It always goes over well with others.
and then,
Bill Purcell just walked out.
um,
I think it'd be a good idea. Like in the other reading, it says, have two different, depending on, if you want to build teamwork, and base your compensation that way. Have your departments that are based that way, and then have your departments that are based on individual pay schemes. But yeah, I totally disagree with the aspect of basing compensation on what every other team does is what you're going to get paid. Because what if your team outperforms everybody, but nobody else picks up the weight on their departments? They're getting the pay from you guys, but you're not getting anything from them. And it's kind of the same way as the whole free rider thing. Like you worry about people, not pulling their weight and just getting paid for it anyway. But
It seems to me, though, if one team pulls their weight or does really well and another team doesn't, at least at this company, it seems to me that doesn't help the company at all, because for at least the way they talk about their product or service, it seems like all teams have to be working together well for there to be an increase in revenue profit. And so unfair to the company to have to pay out money to employees and also to jobs, but any more revenue. So why should we have to me out to them. Just worried about the bottom line.
Okay. I also like the idea in the case of basing pay based on your competencies and like what you're learning. So the more you know how to do, the better you'll get paid because you can work at those different things. And it encourages people to continue to improve.
I don't see any encouragement in that pay plan for people to improve. Yeah, you say you want people to learn and to learn different things and to grow, but there's no compensation listed saying that you'll get paid more for knowing more and helping out more.
Well, that could be something that could be written in to the new pay plan, going based on your skill levels and what you do have and the future skills that you can learn. This is what you could get paid.
I think if you listed it like that and gave a specific raise for everything that they learn, then I think that would work. As far as the individuals, but you can't really base that on the team.
No, it would be based on the individual, not the team.
If we do that, though, then we're bound to lose money because the whole team has to work together to be able to meet their demands. And if a person's working hard, then we as a company are going to lose money and have to pay more money to that individual. In the long run, we'll be losing money.
It can work that way.
Look, how are you going to lose money if you're producing a better associate that knows their job and how to get stuff done more efficiently and knows other positions and things that could help the company?
Because it's a team effort, it's not in our company. Organized in team so forming, then we're losing money first off from them, and that individual's performance, yes, it does matter. If the whole team's not performing, then it doesn't matter that much.
What do you think would happen if they kept it at the same thing, but they had bonus incentives? More based on this plan that they originally put forward? Kind of like, I feel like we had a case a few weeks ago, or somebody mentioned something where a sales department was on commission base and they switched to salary, and the department improved a lot because they were no longer trying to compete with everybody, but they were more focused on working together to get that, to make more sales for the company.
Maybe I misunderstood it. Can you repeat the question?
So what if we had, because the whole problem is we feel that for the team environment that's happening right now, the pay system that's currently in place is outdated. It needs to be more geared towards the team environment. So what if we used the general idea of this new pay plan and use that to base like bonuses and what people earn on top of what they're getting paid currently. So you're still getting what you're currently getting paid, but also getting paid more requires you to work together and come up with ideas within your team. And maybe you have to go talk to another team and say, this is what we're doing. How does what you're doing work with what we're doing? So that everybody's improving. It will take a little bit more effort, but maybe getting a bonus based on that rather than feeling like your salary is getting hit would go over it. Does that make more sense?
I'm probably not still probably misunderstanding how the whole bonus thing works, but you know, if you're promoting teamwork, you know, paying individuals is great, but you know, offering bonuses kind of avoids that because you know, even though the pay would be great for that paycheck or whatever, what if you don't share that information? What if you just, you know, it kind of takes away from the teamwork because the people are just going to do what they need to do to get that bonus and not necessarily pass it on to others so they get that bonus too.
I guess what I'm trying to say is that in the bonus, it requires you to work with the team. Like, be set up in a way that the team needs to work together and interact to, I don't know, maybe it's a stretch and it's a little bit more a little bit more difficult to try and institute something like that than to.
So basically, offer them a pay plan, a bonus to do what they should be doing in the first place.
Yeah, that's a bad idea. If we can't hear you talking, you can also post on the comment bar that can show up on the side. There should be a chat box. Okay. So do you think there should be an incentive pay? My idea was kind of shot in the dark and didn't really work. Do you think there should be some sort of incentive pay system, or how do you think that could work?
Like, I don't think there should be, to be honest. I mean, it's gonna, If you do individual pay and then do incentives, it's just going to keep the team apart because one person is going to keep skills and things separate. But then to offer it as a team incentive, is like you're sharing your information, but you're taking your time to share your information with your colleagues, and then whether they follow it or not, to save the time and get more done. You can't make them do that. So to compensate the team for that, for doing stuff like that, or individuals even, it's like you kind of get yourself into a roadblock.
See how that would happen. The comments we have, they say we fire all the people who aren't on board and only keep those who are willing to work hard.
If you do that, you lose your whole R&D department. Then you have nobody developing new products for the company.
Yeah. There's some pretty high-paid, talented people in that department.
And I guarantee you're not going to get anybody on board with group pay.
Okay. So what are some, realize we've been kind of all over the board, but maybe what is one thing that we can agree on that was a good idea for the company? I think we all kind of hit on, like, paying people what they're worth is a very good idea. But what do you guys think?
I think as a company, they're promoting teamwork, and I think they just need to pay it out of the situation for a minute and look at other aspects and see how they can improve teamwork before they go to pay, and see if there's some other job procedures or something else that they need to change the culture on before.
Okay. So fix other things first. Definitely, if you have people working together in the first place, then you'll have people be able to work together and understand really why they decided to do something the way they did it.
And I think the culture is torn, as you're saying there, because all the changes that they're making, trying to make it more of a team atmosphere, but they're forcing it on to the associates, not including them in the decisions. It's like, okay, we just changed your job. This is what you have to do now. And instead of, hey, what do you do on your job? How can we improve it? Do you have any ideas? I agree. It's making the culture worse.
It's like under Tom Nyberg's things that you think should be fixed. He references another company where they listened to employees' concerns and shared findings and possibilities, and they had a newsletter that they could read to update the group each week. So that may be difficult since the company is maybe larger, but it could also pay off because everybody has a part in it rather than feeling like just one person came up with the idea as forcing it on them.
One thought I just thought of by reading Christopher's post there is that, yeah, it's creating competition, and inside the company, I was like, how has productivity gone down because of this? You know, what kind of product are the customers even getting because of this internal conflict in the company? You know, they're not being won. I was like, they're probably everybody in the company is probably has this on their mind and not even focusing on their work more likely. So it's probably coming out with worse products and less products than they normally do. So it's really hurting the company right now.
And that's why in a pay plan, it's important that there's something included to protect the company, especially during times like that.
Yeah.
What about protecting your employees? It's because, go ahead.
No, go for it. Finish what you're going to say.
I was going to say, just the only reason they're in the situation for the company is because the company is changing and enforcing it on the associates. Hey, this is what you have to do now, and this is what you're going to get paid now for it, and not including them in the process of making these big decisions for the changeover, and not saying, oh, this is what you do. We want you to do it a little bit more like this and incorporate your team members instead of just saying, hey, you're done. You gotta do it this way, and you're gonna get paid this much. That's kind of like culture shock, like going to a new company right off the bat. So yeah, you might protect the company by having more money on hand, but you're not going to protect your associates, and therefore you're not going to protect your company because they're going to walk out.
If you don't protect company financially enough, though, the company will go under, and then you're not protecting your associates. So if you protect your company, in reality, you're also protecting your associates' jobs.
Maybe a couple of weeks ago, but when we talked about training, and I think I heard something mentioned about it in one of the readings. Maybe giving the employees maybe an hour training and going, hey, this is what we're looking at, and this is kind of the way pay and compensation works, so that they can understand where the company is coming from and not just feel like they're getting attacked and what they're getting paid is getting attacked with culture shock.
I think going along with that, it's going to take time to get with everybody. Kind of do that before you roll out this new plan. Like he's planning on rolling it out in a month, and it's done. Take more time. Get to talk to every associate. Tell them how it's going to work so they understand it. and see what their input is, and then make your final draft and implement it.
Yep.
Because I mean, if I all of a sudden just cut your pay to 75% of what you normally get paid, and the other 25% isn't happening right now because company's just kind of going under and we need to protect the company, you're only getting 75% of your normal paycheck. How is that going to make you feel as an associate when I didn't even talk to you about it before? I just cut your pay.
And you're gonna, especially when you're gonna cut people's pay by a quarter, you need to,
That's business.
it's,
But you always, in business, it's best practice to talk to your associates and let them know what's coming up. Pass that information on and get their opinions and their input before you make that final decision.
Not always, because sometimes it causes panic, which you don't want.
Yeah, but you're going to have a massive walkout if you just cut everybody's pay without talking to them.
Not necessarily, at least not for a little while till they find another job.
So you're basically saying that that's the best option? Just let them go?
No, I'm just saying that it's not always best to inform your employees beforehand.
So you don't believe in sharing the information?
Certain information shouldn't be shared.
Why not?
Because it can cause panics and other things. And also because some of it is private.
Well, this is affecting your employees. You don't think that you should tell them what's going on and what's coming up and what changes you're thinking about making?
Not if it's going to cause panic.
comments. What we have is, I think it says, if there was a council that could bring in more ideas, and there were employees, associates on that council or board, then it gets the perspective of everybody in the company, not just management, and getting things done and getting things from their perspective, because the perspective is different. We're going to finish up with this part. Thanks for all your ideas. We will take the ideas and suggestions and thoughts, concerns, everything to Sandberg and see what the committee wants to do with in the future. Or what it wants to do in the future about discussing this. Coming to potentially a plan. We'll just have. Okay. Last part. Now they want to know what you, as your real person, real identity, thinks. Do you think maybe the same as the person you're playing, or are there different games?
I definitely think a bit different. I mean, I do think that the company's bottom line needs to be protected, but I also do think that there needs to be something to protect the individual as well. I mean, I've seen it in companies, and it's hard and it's rough. So I definitely think that it needs to be balanced out, because at the same time, you can't just throw the company to the wind. It's got to benefit everybody in some way. Obviously, it's not going to be perfect, but as long as it, for the most part, benefits everybody and it works out, I think it'll be okay.
I'm kind of on the same level as Sid, as well as thinking, pay people what they're worth, and you're going to get productivity out of them and efficiency. By forcing a group blanket, I mean, just in my personal personal experience with my team right now. It's like I can get more done by doing it myself than I can by taking the time to explain it all to my associates every 10 minutes. And it's like, I went in one night on my night off and got rid of, like 35 totes of candy, that by myself in one night that usually takes us 3 nights to get rid of as a team.
Okay.
Of course, that's just one aspect, but there's other things we got to do. But trying to get everybody on the same page and, okay, this should only take you this long to get done. Okay, why did it take you this long? It takes, it's like, then even individually, you still got some people that, will just do the bare minimum. And, but I mean, I agree. You gotta take care of the company. You gotta protect that bottom line, so the company will stay alive. But there's other ways to do it to cut costs and save money than just going straight after compensation.
Yeah. I think people see compensation as the easiest one to deal with in the first place. And so they go after it first because they may have more struggles changing other things that they maybe have less control of, like the materials and other things that go into the product, because they're still buying the work that the employees are doing, but you are also working for the company, and so
And then as far as the case goes, yeah, I see where you're coming from. And then as far as the case goes, their whole thing is about teamwork. How is teamwork affected by the pay? It's like you should change the atmosphere, the culture of the company, the organization, and the teams in order to promote teamwork and not affect everybody's pay to enforce teamwork. Doesn't work that way.
it does seem like that got thrown on them a little bit, and the upper management feels like they're adjusting just fine and changing, but the employees maybe don't feel quite the same way about how the adjustment process is going.
And that's why there has to be that communication.
Yeah. Any other thoughts on top 10 and what they think what's going on in the company? Okay. Everybody doesn't have other ideas. I think that wraps us up for this week. Thank you for participating and doing a good job on your roles. And yeah. Is there anything else besides case discussion that we need to discuss this week? Sounds good. I think we're done for this week. So see you guys next week. Y'all are awesome.
Sorry your computer is working, Chris.
Oh my. Hopefully everybody's computer is working next week.